I could see that being interesting for somebody like PagerDuty to go tackle. But you kind of have to think about who's consuming that data as well, right? You know, if I'm a DevOps guy and something blows up, like I'm probably just hopping into, you know, in this case, like my GCP console and looking at Stackdriver. Things that would go into, and just to kind of drill into that hypothetical use case, kind of that aggregated data view, a lot of it would go to kind of data fidelity. You know, how often would that data be updated? That's actually, believe it or not, kind of a difficult problem to solve. So.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. And then that's definitely a good idea. Are there any other product features or enhancements that you'd like to see from PagerDuty or the market in general?
I mean, I think at this point, you know, it is kind of a space that's in search of kind of long tail problems. You know, I mean, at the current moment, you know, I think they're quite mature in terms of feature set, and probably looking for interesting things to go tackle. You know, if you know history is any guide, and you know they continue along their current course, and they being primarily PagerDuty VictorOps, you know, you can bet there's going to be some sort of consolidation at some point, where somebody large is going to say, I need to get in front of a ton of DevOpsy sort of folks, and this is a really good way to acquire a DevOpsy user base. So then I can go sell them a bunch of other stuff. Like that's going to happen. It's just a question of on what sort of timeline, and you know, how much growth that they can squeak in, you know, in the meantime.
Right. So I'd love to find out a little bit more about that. So with DevOps or AI ops and, you know, the different functionality that's coming along that, how important do you think it is for vendors to start incorporating that into their offerings?
So,
and kind of what timeline do you think that would be necessary?
So that's an interesting question in the regard that, you know, kind of the primary value these third-party tools bring are the kind of integrations across data sets. So, you know, for me as a vendor, so let's say Stackdriver from Google as an example, for me to provide more value, I would have to go integrate with my competitors' tools, which is kind of a tacit admission that, like, I'm not the only game in town, which tends to be difficult for a lot of organizations, internal politics or product positioning or somewhere in between. So I don't know. I don't necessarily see a large threat of somebody doing that. More kind of in the inverse. I mean, not that somebody couldn't, like Stackdriver would be a good example of somebody that could, you know, provide that's a strategic imperative. But moreover, I think in the inverse, where, you know, there's a highly acquisitive company that already sells stuff to IT ops folks, that wants to broaden that base and then actually get kind of inroads into that larger population, because I imagine there's also a hell of a lot of data that you could start to mine off the back of that. You know, if you're looking for displacement or what have you, that's a great data set and a great population to kind of capture.
Okay. So you think if there was something that an organization was able to, you know, get through the politics and all the integrations to be able to incorporate, you do see some value in there?
Oh,
in terms of incorporating more
for sure.
Automation. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's a complete ecosystem play, and yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yep. Okay, great. And then, so without going into, you know, detail of what you're currently paying for your tool, how would you characterize the value that you feel you're receiving relative to the price?
I mean, the price has never come up. And when we were looking at purchasing it, you know, we're looking at purchasing it previously. It was not even a discussion.
Got it. Okay. And then